The janitor slipped into the auditorium the way he slipped into every room, quietly, almost apologetically, as if the world might object to his presence if he took up too much space. The graduation ceremony was already underway. Names echoed, applause rose and fell like waves, and the lights burned hot against the polished floor. He paused near the back, cap in his hands, eyes scanning for one face he'd memorized 1,000 times in every mood and every age. Then he found him, his son, sitting straighter than usual, shoulders squared, eyes shining. And just like that, the janitor's heart forgot how to beat normally. Stay with me, because the moment that followed, when a Navy captain noticed a tattoo and began to cry, changed everything for everyone in that room. Before we go further, if stories about quiet strength, unseen sacrifice, and love that never quits move you even a little, tap like, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us. These stories matter, and so do you. His name was Daniel Brooks, though almost no one called him that anymore. To most people at the school, he was just the janitor, the man with the rolling cart, the soft footsteps, and the habit of humming old songs while he worked. He cleaned chalk dust from blackboards and gum from the underside of desks. He fixed leaky faucets no one noticed until they stopped dripping. He arrived before sunrise and left long after the last bell, because overtime paid for groceries and because going home too early made the house feel too empty. Daniel had learned how to be invisible after his wife died. The grief had taught him that being seen could hurt, that questions could open wounds that never quite healed. So he kept his head down and his voice low. He wore long sleeves even in summer. He didn't talk about the past. He didn't talk about the tattoo on his forearm, inked years ago under desert stars, a symbol of a brotherhood and a promise made when he was young and strong and thought he understood the cost of bravery. His son, Michael, was the reason he kept going. Every morning Daniel packed a lunch with a note tucked inside. Nothing fancy, just, proud of you, or, you've got this. Michael never mentioned the notes, but Daniel noticed when they stopped coming back untouched. He noticed everything when it came to his boy. He noticed the way Michael practiced speeches in the mirror, the way he studied late into the night, the way he carried himself with a quiet confidence that Daniel hoped came from love and not from having to grow up too fast. Graduation day had been circled on Daniel's calendar for months. He'd requested the afternoon off, trading shifts and favors, saving every spare dollar to buy a button-down shirt that still smelled faintly of the store. He'd planned to sit in the back, cheer softly, and slip out before anyone could make a fuss. This day belonged to Michael, not to him. But life, Daniel knew, had a way of ignoring plans. As the ceremony continued, the principal spoke about resilience in the future. A Navy ROTC color guard stood near the stage, crisp and proud, their uniforms immaculate. Among them was Captain Laura Hayes, invited to speak about service and leadership. She was composed, professional, and respected, her presence commanding the room without effort. She listened as names were called, her gaze sweeping the crowd now and then, a habit formed from years of situational awareness. That was when she saw him. At first, it was nothing more than a flicker of recognition, an image that tugged at a memory she hadn't opened in years. A man standing near the back, sleeves rolled slightly as he wiped his palms on his pants. The lighting caught his forearm just enough to reveal dark lines beneath the fabric. Captain Hayes narrowed her eyes, not out of suspicion, but out of disbelief. She knew that tattoo. Her breath hitched, and the room seemed to tilt. Years earlier, in a different life, she had served with a unit that became her family. They had shared jokes and rations, fear and courage, victories and losses. The tattoo, an emblem worn by those who had earned it the hard way, wasn't common. It was a marker of survival, of nights that never ended, of brothers who didn't all come home. She had attended funerals. She had written letters. She had carried names in her heart like a rosary of grief. She had never expected to see that symbol again in a high school auditorium, on the arm of a janitor. Captain Hayes stood frozen as Michael's name was called. Daniel clapped, softly at first, then harder, pride breaking through his careful restraint. Michael walked across the stage, diploma in hand, and for a moment Daniel forgot where he was. He forgot the years of scrubbing floors and swallowing pride. He forgot the long nights and longer days. He saw only his son, whole and hopeful, stepping into a future Daniel had built with scraped knuckles and silent tears. When the applause died down, Captain Hayes found her voice shaking. She approached the podium for her address, but her eyes never left Daniel. She spoke of service, of sacrifice, of the many forms courage can take. She spoke of those who wear uniforms and those who don't, of battles fought in public and those fought quietly at home. Her words were measured, but emotion threaded through them like a current. As the ceremony ended, people began to file out. Daniel waited, letting the crowd thin. He planned to meet Michael outside, give him a hug, maybe take a picture with a borrowed phone. He didn't notice Captain Hayes moving toward him until she was standing just a few feet away. "Excuse me," she said gently. Daniel turned, startled. He saw the uniform, the rank, the tears she was trying, and failing, to hide. Instinctively, he pulled his sleeve down. "You don't have to," she said, voice breaking. "I know that, Mark." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The noise of celebration faded, replaced by the echo of memories neither had planned to revisit. Daniel felt the old weight settle on his chest, the names he never said out loud pressing forward. "I didn't know anyone would recognize it," he finally said. "I didn't know anyone from that unit was still here," she replied, a tear slipping free. I thought I was alone with it." Daniel shook his head slowly. "You're never alone. You just don't always see who's standing beside you." They shared stories in fragments, no details, no heroics. Just acknowledgments. Just understanding. Captain Hayes thanked him for his service, her salute crisp and sincere. Daniel returned it, rusty but respectful. In that moment, the janitor and the captain stood on equal ground, bound by a past that had shaped them both. Michael watched from a distance, confusion written across his face. He'd never seen his father like this, standing taller, eyes steady, a presence he hadn't known was there. When Daniel turned and beckoned him over, Michael hesitated, then approached. "Son," Daniel said, voice thick with pride, "this is Captain Hayes." Michael shook her hand, polite and curious. "You should be very proud," she said to Michael. "Your father is a remarkable man." Michael looked at Daniel, really looked at him, and something shifted. Later, in the car, he would ask questions Daniel had avoided for years. Later, Daniel would answer, not with stories of violence, but with lessons about responsibility, love, and choosing kindness even when the world gives you reasons not to. That night, they celebrated with takeout and laughter. Daniel framed Michael's diploma and hung it in the living room where everyone could see. He folded away the janitor's uniform and set it aside for the weekend. On Monday, he would return to work, because work was honest and necessary. But he would walk a little taller. Captain Hayes wrote a letter to the school board recommending Daniel for a facilities management position. Not as a favor, she insisted, but as recognition long overdue. Daniel accepted, not for status, but for the chance to provide more for his son and to be seen not as a symbol, but as a man. The tattoo remained on his arm, no longer hidden. It wasn't a badge of pain anymore. It was a reminder that the quietest people often carry the heaviest stories, that dignity doesn't need applause, and that love, steady, patient, and unassuming, can change the course of a life. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone who sacrifices quietly or of a strength you didn't know you had, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear that they matter. Because sometimes, the most powerful heroes are the ones who show up silently, sit in the back, and love without conditions, and sometimes, all it takes is one moment of recognition to bring their story into the light.